Okay, so today is Thursday, November 6th, 2025, what's really cool about that is, if my math is correct, yesterday would be the 70th anniversary of November 5th, 1955, which, as you may or may not be familiar with, is the date that Doc Brown was hanging a clock, fell and hit his head, and had that vision of the flux capacitor, which is the thing that makes time travel possible. I'm sorry for yawning through that. And it's not me trying to yawn it back to the future. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, and wanted to give it a shout out when I noticed the date. But I am feeling pretty tired. It's like 4 o'clock, I think. I mean, I guess my body thinks it's 5, I guess, because, daylight savings. But I've just been really tired lately. Like, I'm pretty hungry too. I haven't eaten since, I don't know, 9, maybe a little bit before 9. I'm probably gonna go do that after this. But I've just been really stressed, and I've had like a lot of difficulty relaxing lately. And part of that I don't think is necessarily a bad thing, because like a really cool thing happened over the weekend. And I think I kind of alluded to it in the last video. I was like, I got a big thing to talk about, and I'm not going to say anything yet because I don't want to like jinx it or change my mind. And I talked about it on Saturday when it happened. I released my book, the Orichalcum Crown, now available. I'll probably try to put some of the links here. Like, I usually just upload these directly from my phone, so I'll probably like upload it, hold off on publishing it, and then just like put a few links below. But there's that, and like that's really cool. That's really exciting. But I won't lie, I've spent a lot of like my time last week just kind of making sure that everything was good to go, all the ducks were in a row. I've also spent some time over the weekend like reaching out to people like reviewers and blogs to see if anyone would potentially be interested. And I've had a few people hit me back, and I'm like, that's really cool and exciting. And I don't know when they will review it and like have the time and opportunity to, 'cause I understand, number one, people are busy, we all have schedules, and number two, this is very short notice, so like there's no rush whatsoever. But like, I don't know when I might hear back from some of the people who haven't reached out yet, and when I'll get a review from the people who have. I also have no idea if they'll even be positive, which is something that I do like, weirdly enough, because the last thing I want is to just be like, hey, here's, I don't know, $60, say it's the best book ever, and I don't know, like that. I want any feedback I get to be genuine, even if it's negative, which, yeah, I mean, that would suck. I don't want to be told, it's like, man, you published this? Well, no wonder no agent wanted to do it. It's dog shit. But at least it's honest. And at least then I know, okay, here are the elements that didn't work. What can I take going forward into the other books in the series, into other writing that I'm going to do, to try to make it better and try to make it stronger? And if the feedback is genuinely like positive, it's genuine and it's positive, then it just feels good, you know? Like, I think I had mentioned that I've like gotten other reviews like from different contests or different sites. They're like, yeah, like we're happy to review, like this is our fee for the reviewing. That does not guarantee a positive review. We always try to be very honest. And then like when you hear that disclaimer, you do feel a little nervous going in. And then when you get a really glowing review, it's like, oh, I'm assuming that like that disclaimer was still genuine, and it does mean that you really liked it and you're not just like trying to make me feel better. And that's a nice feeling. But because I've been doing a lot of stuff I need to get done for the book, I haven't really been relaxing super well. And also like still going to work, which like it's law. Law is like kind of by the way it works, not inherently relaxing. And again, that's not a bad thing. I don't want to just be lulled into a sense of complacency, I guess, or just like routine when I'm doing law work, because this is important shit for other people. But I wouldn't call it relaxing. And there's also just like weirdness going on at home. Like, there need to be renovations. And tonight I'm actually gonna have to pack up like a lot of my stuff because we're apparently not supposed to be in the house. I think we're supposed to be moving at, like, getting temporarily relocated tomorrow, but I have court in the morning tomorrow, so I'm gonna be like somewhere else, so I'm not gonna be there for the moving of the stuff. And I don't even think we know where we're going at this point, because like the insurance company is supposed to be setting us up. Excuse me. I also have no idea how long it's gonna last. Like, from my understanding, with just like the scale of the repairs and the renovations, like, this might not just be a couple weeks. This might go for a while, which is another thing that's just kind of stressing me out, and it's harder to relax. But I'm still trying. Still, trying to do my best, trying to, I don't know if I'd say stay positive. I feel like I haven't really been doing that particularly well this week. I just felt kind of down, like kind of out of it, But I'm still trying to function. Like, I think that's the best word for it. Am I doing okay? No. But I know I will be. So just kind of need to weather the stress and the storm and like whatever other bullshit, like dealing with health insurance. Just trying to like renew my insurance and like the hoops I have to jump through. And I'm like, all right, I did all this. Okay, but did you do this? No. Well, it's okay because they've reached back out to you and like, this is what you gotta do and not gotta do. Cool. But where's the actual document where you told me that? Like, oh, well, it's in your account. About have an account with you. Yeah. Then how am I supposed to read it? Like, what the hell? Like, this is so dumb. And just, like, that kind of weirdness and goofiness. But let me just breathe. Because it's nice that I can do that. Because I almost maybe wasn't able to. Because I don't know if I want to go so far as to say I almost died yesterday, but I was almost hit by a truck. So I was driving home. Like, I was at the lake and I don't know, like I was recording some things for a thing. You won't see those on the channel. This was like a pitch event. So like, look, I just self-published the book, but I don't know, like it could still get picked up if someone's like, look, I liked this. I really, like, maybe we can work together and figure this out. And then the other books this year is like, cool, maybe I can do that. Let's pitch this one. I'm like, let's pitch Isla too. So, but I was driving home and I want to go turn into the highway, and there's a dude turning off the highway to go into the side road that I'm on. And they turn a little too early. So, because they're not turning right at the turn, they're turning into a couple lanes because there's no cars in that lane. So I assume they looked and are like, look, let me try to avoid some of the traffic that might be coming, or let me just kind of get this turn done quick. Either they didn't see me coming down the way, or they saw me coming down the way and thought, bet, I can make that. And they did. I had to like slam on the brakes, but they did. But I was very, very close to just getting hit by a truck, like full on, like, what do you call that? Because that's not a fender bender. That's head-on collision. Thank you. So it was almost a head-on collision of a truck that was not slowing down. I think he was going faster just to make sure he could hit. I was like, I was that close to, like, I think the way I described it yesterday, it was like a one-way ticket to the Shadow Realm. I think at one point I was like, dude, I almost got demolished. I almost was like just a splat of paint on the fucking concrete. Because I don't think my car would have put up much of a fight against that truck. Like, it wasn't a semi, but it was like, that's a lot bigger, and the front looks a lot, I don't know, meatier, like more filled out than mine. Oh boy. But I didn't get demolished. I didn't get a one-way ticket to the Shadow Realm. I am not a splat of paint on the side of the concrete. I'm here. And I get to breathe. I get to see how fucking pretty the lake is. And that's really nice. You know, like I said, like, especially after just how stressed and, like, high-strung I've been the past week. Probably more than that. I'm always, like, stressed and high-strung, but it's felt, like, almost more intense than usual. Honestly, for probably, like, the past month and some change. Being able to just sit, look out at the water, and just, like, see the changing colors, like, the you know, the leaves changing colors as they're, like, kind of going in the breeze. It's nice. So I'm a bit more introspective than I was kind of expecting for this, because I didn't write any of this down in my notes, aside from the fact that, you know, book, like, book published. I was trying to record this a couple times. I didn't get very far. I think that's kind of why. I was like, the whole point of these videos, these Thursday videos, is just kind of give an update on, this is where I'm at, this is how I'm doing. And not talking about, like I said, like, my stress or, like, how strong I've been lately. Wouldn't be genuine. Wouldn't be authentic. I guess, like, this is my review of me every week, and it would not be an authentic review otherwise. Sorry for front-loading the video with all that, not getting to any of, like, the other stuff, like talking about Survivor, which, again, wasn't. So, okay, so I guess that'll be the transition, just, like, going into other shit for the video. So I have been watching Survivor Thursday mornings instead of Wednesday night, and I would have watched it yesterday night. I actually, like, was, like, at home able to, but because of, like, the damage to the house, we can't go into the lounge, like, we're not supposed to. So, like, I actually can't go sit down and watch it. So I guess, like, first thing Thursday morning, but I did. And I just kind of got to reiterate what I said last week, which is, yeah, I feel like the season has been getting a lot better, a lot more interesting with these tribe swaps. And I had also said last week that it's not that I, like, disliked the cast, but I felt like I don't really have, like, someone that I feel really close to that I'm rooting for. Like, even the OG Kella members of Alex and Sophie, Soph now, because there's two Sophies, I'm like, yeah, like, I like them, but I'm not like, man, I am, like, strongly, passionately rooting for my Kella underdogs. But after, like, last week, and, like, the alliance that formed between Steven, Sage, and Jawan, which they now refer to themselves as Bottoms Up, which I kind of love it. Like, I don't know. I feel like it finally hit me, or I'm like, okay, this is who I'm rooting for. And after so many weeks of seeing Jawan clearly on the bottom of Uli, and clearly just, we have him around because he's Uli strong, but we're kind of gonna cut him first chance we get. Like, we don't dislike him, Savannah does, and honestly, like, you know, if someone was using my bag, like, for all that stuff, like, drinking out of my water bottle, it's like, look, I'm not gonna fault Savannah for that. She has genuine reasons. But it's like, we don't dislike him, but he's not Sorry, I just thought of Lion King 2. He is not one of us. And then, like, having all these times, like, where Matt's going up to him during the first swap and is like, hey, man, like, I think we're bonding. You want to work together? Yeah, I totally will, but I'm really strong. Or him kind of bonding with Jason, and Jason's like, hey, man, I'm, like, maybe we can do something. Yeah, dude, I'd be totally down for that, but I'm really strong. Seeing him last week finally turn on that, and it's staying true this week, I love to see that. Like, I love seeing someone take agency over their game. Whether it's because they realize I am a number to someone else, and like, I'm not playing to be your number 5, I'm playing to be my number 1. Or if it's just because, like, look, it's not that I've realized I'm at the bottom. Maybe they're genuinely in a good position, but are just like, I want to do this because I think this is better for my game. Or, you know what? I genuinely like these people more than I like these people. Like, I remember, what was Tika? That was 42? 43? It gets kind of hard to remember when it's just the numbers, but I think that was 42 because I think, like, Jesse Gabler was 43, but I might have that backwards. My point, though, is I remember when Tika was going to go to their first tribal, there was only 5 members because Bruce had been medevaced at, like, the end of the first challenge. And it was, like, I can't remember their names, unfortunately, but it was, like, these 2 young women that were allied with Carson, and then Carolyn and Jam Jam. And Carson, even though he had made this alliance with the other 2, like, pretty quickly, had noted, he's like, you know, these past few days, though, I've bonded a lot with Carolyn and Jam Jam. And I feel like these other 2 are a lot more strategic the way that I am. And I like the way that we're, like, kind of bonding over the game. I feel like this is a really good way to move forward. And Carolyn and Jam Jam are just, like, weird and dysfunctional, and probably not the best thing going forward. But damn it, I like them. Like, I just really like these 2. And surprisingly, I think this is where the way I want to move forward. And that's what he did. And I don't know what would have happened if, you know, he went with the other 2 that he was closely aligned with, but with Carolyn and Jam Jam, they were the final 4. And it was, like, such a wild, like, here's the thing, like, it's a season that I remember very little of it outside of the Tika 3. Like, I remember, I mean, I could probably just, like, start naming people from this season. I don't want to do that. But to me, it was, here's these 2 tribes that are, you know, having their Hina Uli war kind of thing. And then here is the Tika 3 in the middle, just actually running things and being so dang entertaining. And I loved it. And I'm like, yeah, this is because Carson said, I know I made an alliance early, but I'm going to take agency of my game. I'm going to do what feels right for me. And he did it. And Jawan has now done the same thing in kind of a different place, but done the same thing. And Sage has done the same thing. And Sage is so fun. I've been enjoying it a lot more the past few episodes. And yeah, I liked this. It's so nice to see a merge. And not, because I think they've done this in a couple of these more recent seasons, where it's not just, hey, well, you know, half of you are going to be immune at the merge vote and half of you are not. It is so much better when it's just one person. Maybe 2 if you want to do a situation where, because they've done some where it's like, okay, like 1 man, 1 woman, and then, like, you're both going to be immune, everyone else is fair game. I'm more okay with that, but I prefer to just be, look, it's 1 person. You're immune, everyone else is fair game, because it's the merge. It's such an important defining vote. And we see it here. We see how everyone is talking about it. Like, we are going to know where we stand. Who are the people that we're close to? Who are the people who have turned on us? And who are the people who are voting with me, but very clearly playing their own game? Like the fact that MC has an idol, and everyone knows she has this idol. She is not offering to use that idol for anyone. And I am not going to make that a point of contention against someone, because that is for you. It makes sense to want to use it for you. And now that it's public knowledge, like, well, let me just go ahead and play it. Get rid of it. Like, just in case, let me save myself if I am a target. And if I'm not, this maybe gets the target off my back. But you also kind of notice that, like, yeah, she's like, no one's even asking her, like, would you be willing to play that for Steven? Like, She wasn't even trying to tell anyone she had it, just Savannah followed her, which was kind of comedy gold. I loved that. But then you've got Uli, who think they're still Uli strong, but they're not. But Rizzo, because I think Rizzo had said when he found the idol, he's like, look, like, this is mine. And he was like, like, this is for all of us, it's Gucci. And then in, confessionals, he's like, look, I'm going to say all that, but it's mine. It's staying in my pocket. But the vibe I did get from this was, he's like, no, like, we're safe. Like, I have no need to play it. But I think if he genuinely believed he was in danger, he would have played it. And if he thought we're in danger and Savannah's the target, I think he would have. Maybe I'm totally wrong on that, but I think he would have. Which is the kind of thing, is like, okay, like, it's not just you're voting with me, they're an alliance. Like, they're tight. That's the kind of shit you learn in a merge vote. And I'm glad that seems to be something that has been learned. I will say, I'm disappointed to see Nate go, because as they said, like, he is the safe option. And, like, I do like him as well. But it is like, yeah, Rizzo's the one with the idol. That's a way better play. Because I guess on the one hand, it's like, well, now we know who, like, we still know who has it. But it also means we know who has it, so he's more or less safe. Again, Soph has the knowledge is power. And props to her for not telling anyone about it, because that's something you see a lot, surprisingly, with knowledge is power. It's, why? Like, don't tell anybody, because then it's literally worthless. But, I really I don't think it's as smart of an idea to keep him around, just because, yeah, like, you can't really snipe him as easily. You have to play around the idol. Whereas, as Jawan said, like, dude, he's not playing it. He knows he thinks he's safe tonight because he still believes we're Uli strong. He has zero reason to play it. Now is when you get him. Or this is where you get Savannah for the exact same reason. They have no reason to believe they're in danger. Like, we either take out the dude with the idol, or we take out who has really seemed to be the core of this alliance. And you did neither of those. Hate to see it, because I think it would have... that's the thing. I'm like, on the one hand, I'm like, I hate to see it, because I feel like it was the least interesting of those three moves. But alternatively, it is the most interesting of those three moves, because now the core of that alliance, Savannah, is still here, which means she can be causing some trouble. And from the, like, next time on Survivor, it seems like she will be. It's like, okay, it's probably a good thing that she's still here, because this might get really intense. And also, okay, with Rizzo still being here, how is that going to play in with his idol? Yeah, I'm disappointed that and I mean this with no disrespect to Nate, but, like, seemingly a bigger fish wasn't fried. But it does mean there's some bigger fish staying in this pond that got a little bit smaller. And I do like that. So, did I have anything else I wanted to say about this episode? Oh, I think the only thing was, like, at the start of the episode where you got our bottoms up trio trying to get their story straight, which everyone bought. And it was just like, yeah, guys, like, Shannon spiraled. Like, she immediately started throwing Jawan under the bus. She just started lying immediately, all of this stuff. And I was thinking to myself, why didn't they do something a little simpler? Like, just say, Steven found an idol. Or, like, hey, Steven played a shot in the dark. It was successful, and, like, we had to turn on each other. I was like, why why are they making Shannon the bad guy? Because the other tribe members might not buy that. Like, they would probably buy an advantage a lot more so. And because no one really knows what the Hina Idol situation is, obviously except MC, there's not a whole lot of blowback. Because the only person that would be aware of that is... Because I might be misremembering, but I genuinely thought MC told Steven that she had the idol. Or, like, that she found the Beware advantage. Like, I gotta get my vote and all that. I remember that happening, and maybe I'm just making it up. And I was like, so, like, the only person that would know y'all are lying is someone Steven's really close to anyways. So there's no downside to this. This feels a little needlessly risky, but everyone bought it. They're like, dang, like, I guess Shannon just went off the deep end. I guess we couldn't trust her as much. We all buy it. We're still really strong. Like, never mind. Like, it worked. No notes for me, I guess. But, okay, that was Survivor. Let's see, I talked about book. I feel like I should talk a little bit about other books. I mentioned Isla briefly that I was also pitching it. So, earlier this week, I went ahead and published the first chapter of it on Royal Road. And earlier today, because there's like they had told me it's like a 48-hour, or up to 48 hours to process to get it approved. And so, today was 48 hours later, so I think I posted it Tuesday. And I went ahead and published a couple more chapters. I've got a few more should be up tomorrow, then like another one the day after. I have a small so it's the weird thing about this story is, like, I have a huge backlog because the story has been written, but a lot of it needs to be edited, and some of it is like, it just needs to be edited, but a lot of it needs to be reworked. And of that backlog, I don't have a whole lot. So it is just kind of going to be here's a lot of what I currently have, and then I will just post them when I'm ready. Which means I kind of need to get back on that horse and start writing it again, which I just haven't been. But a lot of that was, I want to make sure that Orichalcum is Gucci and ready to go. And it went. So I might just kind of pivot back to doing Isla for a bit. I also, now that Orichalcum's out, probably should start working on number 2, but, excuse me. As I said in the video for the book, I think about 50%-ish of book 2 has been drafted, which, a lot of that needs to be edited and a lot more needs to be written, clearly, but there's at least a foundation, like there's a non-zero amount that is already there, so I've got a bit of a head start. We'll just, to use a phrase I use on this channel, we'll go as we go. Like, we'll figure it out. I just don't want to be stressing myself and, like, getting really high-strung about it. It's like, I want to get a lot of this stuff done. I want to work on it. But I need to make sure I do it at a pace that does not overwhelm me. And that I can also say, like, I'm getting stuff done, but I still have time to make sure that it's, like, quality. And I don't mean to be, like, super arrogant about that either. Like, oh yeah, it has to be quality. Like, all my shit is just, I can't say that for sure, but that I can at least say, like, I worked on it. I've looked at it a couple times. Okay, like, let's go. Oh gosh, I haven't even talked about sports yet. Okay, let me try to talk about other shit first, because sports might be a while. So, talk about Survivor, check. Talk about some stuff with the house. So just a couple games I've played. Like, I played a little bit of the Resident Evil 3 remake. I like to call it the 3-make. I had a lot of fun with it. I didn't get super far. I think I'm like 20 minutes in, half an hour or so. But just a lot of the stuff in the, like, opening area, I had a lot of fun with it. I've played a couple rounds of Lego Party, which, honestly, I think it's a pretty fun Mario Party knockoff. Like, there's a lot of just, like, okay, like, this is Mario Party, but with a lot of little, like, unique things. Like, for example, you play the minigame at the start of the round, and that's what determines your turn order for that round. I think that's really cool. And now, like, it's one of those, like, I've never thought about that, but now that that's a mechanic, I'm like, I kind of wish Mario Party did that. Just something to make things a little more chaotic, but at the same time gives you as the player an extra bit of agency and control. Like that cool mix of order and chaos. I like that a lot. But I think the game has been fun. Another thing I did this weekend is my parents asked me, like, if I could get a group of some of my friends to help move some hay, because we had to get some hay in order to feed the horse. And it was weirdly fun. And I think that's just because, like, a good amount of, like 5 or 6 people show up, which I just really appreciated. You know, again, like, with just kind of, like, how stressed, like, how off I felt, like, this past while. Just having so many of my people just saying, like, hey, you need me, I got you, I am happy to show up, I am happy to help. It just made me feel loved. And I kind of really needed that, and I'm just so grateful that it happened. Something I'm not grateful that happened. I don't know if I phrased that right. But the Blue Jays lost the World Series. And, like, I can't be that mad because what a series. Like, Game 7 was just fantastic. And am I upset that my team lost? Yes. Do I wish the outcome would have been different? Yes. Have I had some of those moments where I'm just, like, stewing over, like, if that ball didn't get wedged, maybe it would have ended in 6. You know, if like, maybe there was a better start from third base, or maybe if he slid forward or, like, didn't slide, maybe we could have ended it there. Sure. Maybe, like, if when fucking Puck when he just took out Hernandez, maybe he didn't have to catch it. Like, there's those moments, but I'm also like, that was such a good game and such a good cap to that series. I can't be that mad. So a genuine congratulations to the Dodgers and, like, the players, the fans, the staff. And I hope my Blue Jays can do this next year. Probably not, just because it's a long season. And to get that far and be that close, like, literally that close, and not get it, that's a tough hill to climb. But I'll be invested next year. Oh, man, but there's that. Oh, yeah, and then football. Just my first note, because I don't have a whole lot of NFL notes, just like a few things I wrote down. Saints suck. Yeah, what was this one? 34-10? Like, I've seen, I don't even want to call them memes. They feel like genuine questions, which is just, what do the Saints do in practice all week? Like, for all the little offensive production we have and all the points we give, like, what do we do in practice? Because I remember saying, as I've been saying, like, all season, like, I don't have hope, but I have hope that, you know, we can build something, that there can be, like, a nice foundation for a future. Like, we don't have to win every game, we certainly haven't. Like, I'm not expecting us to be competitive, but I want us to be, like, a tough out every week. And for the first half of the season, like, minus the Seahawks game, which, given how, like, good the Seahawks are, like, I can kind of forgive. Like, I felt like that kind of happened. You know, like, the Cardinals aren't great, but, like, we had a good game against the Cardinals, against the Bills. Who did we play week 2? Because I don't think it was Buffalo week 2. Was that the Patriots? I know we played the Patriots early, and or was that one another blowout? Because I feel like I remember the Patriots game being, like, we definitely lost, but, like, it was pretty close. Like, the Bears game was close for a bit. It was, like, the first half, or, like, 2.5, 3 quarters or so. And then, you know, the Bears kind of stomped us. But, like, we got our asses kicked by the Rams, who are a really good team. We got our asses beat by the Bucks, who are a really good team, but I don't know, if we're going to lose, can't we at least look competent? Not terrible? Definitely sad to see Shahid go. Like, I really liked watching him play. Like, that sucks. We got a 4th and a 6th. I mean, I guess we got something, but how much value do you generally really get from a 6th round pick? Now, of course, there's Mr. What is it? Thomas Edward Patrick. I think those are his two middle names. Anyways, like Tom Brady, most famous 6th round pick of all time. Antonio Brown, I believe, was also taken in the 6th round. And say what you will about AB, like, absolutely phenomenal receiver. Like, it's not impossible to take good players that deep. How often does that really happen? I think we got, like, what? Like, no, maybe it was a 4th and a 5th, which is not as bad. And then I think it was a 6th or a 7th for Penning, who we spent a 1st on. We're like, yeah, let's just ship him off and get something, and it's not much of anything. Just, it's so miserable being a Saints fan. But like I said, I had one team win the NBA chip, another team win the Stanley Cup, and another team be that close to winning the World Series. Someone had to have an awful season. Sorry, New Orleans. I'm actually wearing my OKC shirt. We had our first loss yesterday, which I hate being mad that we lost a game in an 82-game season where we started 7-0 and are coming off the chip. I don't want to be, like, complaining about that. But I am like, really? Lost to the Blazers, who I guess, like, aren't, like, terrible or anything. Like, Holiday was going off. I'm like, we were up 20, I think, like, 21, 22 at one point. And by the time I left, because I was like, I wanted to go home, we were up, like, a decent amount partway through the 3rd quarter. Like, we gone on a bit of a run. We were up double digits at least. Like, really? Really? Okay, fine. Bills Chiefs was fun. You know, I always see a lot of people be like, well, it doesn't really matter. Like, this is the Bills Super Bowl. Like, we'll see what happens in the playoffs. And I just hate that argument. I hate devaluing a really good team beating another really good team, especially when the playoff games are, for the exception, I think, of their first, like the AFC Championship in, how was it, 2019, 2020? They're always, like, that close. And it's always funny just seeing people in the comments be like, oh, look, like, can't wait for Josh Allen to choke again in the playoffs. Like, I don't know, like, do you remember that last play of the AFC Championship last year where he, like, running for his life, going to the ground, if I'm remembering correctly, like, still puts the ball right on a dude's hand? I want to say it was Kincaid who dropped it, which, again, like, incredibly hard catch. Like, I don't want to give the guy shit for it, but, like, that's, you can't really necessarily say that was on Allen, you know, but I don't even know if we're going to get a Bills-Chiefs rematch in the playoffs like we seem to do almost every year. Kansas City still has to make the playoffs. Like, they're out of it right now. I don't think the Chargers are going to make it because those offensive line injuries, man. I think they're still going to, like, be competitive, like, late in the season and everything, but I think I don't think they're going to make it. I think those injuries are going to add up. Someone else could falter also down the stretch, like, you know, Jacksonville Chiefs could just take that spot, but to me, the Chargers are the team that I'm really looking at because of that specifically. I'm like, no, that's a problem. As someone who watched the Saints last year, yeah, losing key offensive linemen is a really quick way to go from we have hope, we're a really good team, to, well, we suck now. So I think the Chiefs will probably still make the playoffs. We might still get them in the Bills anyways, but it's more of an uphill battle than I would have expected. And then, you know, the Lions lose again, where I'm like, wasn't I just saying I think you're the best team in the NFC? I don't know, man. And then it's like, is it going to be the Packers? No, definitely not after that, especially not with losing Kraft for the rest of the year. But, Carolina's over 500? Well, good shit. Like, am I happy to see another division rival doing well and, like, above 500? No. But just, like, as a neutral observer, like, kind of removing my NFC South bias because it's not like the Saints are competing for anything. Just, good shit. And then the Falcons lose. I'm like, good shit. Like, that will always make me feel better about the Saints being terrible. At least you're in the muck with us. We didn't have expectations. What's your excuse? I'm sorry. There's few things that bring me more joy than just the Saints-Falcons rivalry. Whether one of us is good and one of us is terrible, both of us have, like, Super Bowl aspirations, or both of us are just trash. Rivalries are wonderful. And speaking of rivalries and teams being elite, the NFC West is just a dogfight, man. Like, I guess the Seahawks are probably the best team in the NFC right now, but the Rams are just their kryptonite, and I don't even know the next time they play. I don't know, for all I know, it's like next week. But who's tonight's game? That's Denver and the Raiders. I didn't even think the Raiders had it in them to score 30 points. Which, I mean, I guess technically they didn't because they went for 2 and ended at 29. But I feel like that's the best they've looked offensively, if not all year. That's since like week 1. Because didn't they blow out the Patriots week 1? Which, there's always that week 1 game, man. We're just in hindsight, you're like, how the hell did that happen? But, that one for sure. There might be other ones where looking back, I'm like, yeah, how the hell did that one happen? That's the one that comes to mind. I can't talk about the Raiders and the Jags without Cam Little, 68 yards. That's the new record for a field goal in the regular season. That is just impressive. And it's like, he nailed a 70-yarder in the preseason. It's like, so he could break this. Aubrey could probably break this. It's crazy, dude. I've seen people, like, I think facetiously, but kind of say, hey, maybe, like, above 60, maybe it should be 4 points. Maybe above 70, it should just be 4 points. Like, could you imagine that? Like, a team actually saying, okay, since it's 4 points and we're down 4, let's genuinely, like, in good faith, attempt a 70-yard field goal. That would just be wild to witness. But, I think that's about it. I guess the only other thing to bring up is, because I forgot to mention this last week, I'd stopped over to hang out with, like, my buddy Wyatt. I think it was the first time I'd seen him since I got back from my trip. And he was watching an anime called Sanda. It's an anime about a middle school. He's 14. So I guess that would be high school, I think. So a Japanese high schooler who's a descendant of Santa Claus, that when he wears something red, turns into Santa and has Santa-related superpowers. Like, the number one, just like being super strong and really tanky, but also like he's immune to fire because Santa's got to get down the chimney and stuff. Like, that's really funny. And then the character design of like his best friend, she just looks like a Tim Burton character. Like, I don't know how else to describe it, but just like the tall, lanky frame, the eyes that are bigger than the rest of her. I'm like, you just look like you walked out of a Tim Burton movie. And I am like obsessed with how cool this design is. Like, it's so funny to me because of that. And the first 3 episodes were just wild and nuts. And I loved it. And then the next 2 were, for lack of a better word, a lot hornier than I was expecting. And it made me go from, yeah, I'm really enjoying this because of just how like wild and insane the premise is, to, Right. Creator of Beastars. Of course. And I say that as someone who enjoyed Beastars. Like, there was a point where it's like the first arc where it's all about, like, the murder mystery. I loved Beastars. And then as it went on, I was like, I'm still reading this. I'm still following this, but why does Lugosi have a stand? That was, like, a whole thing that happened, like, really late. And like I said, like, I still followed it. I finished it, but I kind of mentally checked out by that point. I'm like, I feel like I kind of get what we're doing here thematically, but I don't know if I'm actually, I don't know if I really enjoyed these past couple episodes. I still want to give it a few more, mostly because of just how, again, like, just how absolutely, like, weird and fun those first 3 episodes were. I'm like, there's an actual interesting world here? But I don't know, this maybe got a little too weird for me. But we'll see. Today's Thursday, so a new episode should come out. It should come out tomorrow. So, like I said, Yanni, I'll probably try to get with Wyatt sometime tomorrow and watch it. I still have like 2 episodes of Dispatch to play, and another couple came out yesterday, so I'm like 4 behind. Blanche, you catch up on that. I mean, it's the first video of the month, or the first Thursday of the month, so it's supposed to be the, like, looking ahead and looking back. I don't really know what to look back for October. Like, look, man, half the month I was out of state on a business trip, and then the other half was doing book stuff, playing Trails, and playing Silent Hill. But now those are done, so I theoretically have a free schedule. So I don't know. I'm like, there's a lot of horror stuff like I didn't do that I want to. I still have videos that I've been meaning to do, specifically Tron Ares, Weapons, and the Trails in the Sky remake. I don't know when I will get to those. I kind of wanted to do them today, but like with there being people in the house, I'm like, I don't know, and now I just feel weird. So maybe, hopefully this weekend, I can get at least one of them done. I still need to play Pokemon. There was a Direct today. I don't even think it was a Direct. Like, I thought it was going to be something bigger. And I'm like, oh, this is like a 3-minute video. Okay. But Mega Chimecho looks really cool. Like, I dig it. It was data mined. So, I think, like, the full list is now available. Gigancy being available is super neat. I'm assuming that Hoopa Strong is going to be catchable in the actual DLCs. Like, there's another couple mythicals. That's neat. Apparently, Magirna is supposed to be getting a mega, so that's probably going to be another mega another mythical that you can get. I don't remember if Volcanion was in the list, but it might also be catchable. So I think Manaphy, Shaman, and Darkrai were all catchable in Arceus. I think you did need to have, like, save data from certain games, so that might be a thing with, like, Volcanion, or, like, maybe even with Magirna as well, but I guess we'll see how that goes. Anyways, I am just kind of rambling and yapping at this point, which, I mean, it's one of these videos, that's all I do. But, just kind of going, so I think I will stop. You have a good day, afternoon, evening, whatever your time zone is. Have a good month. It's, I believe November is supposed to be, like, mental wellness or, like health awareness month. So I pray that you'll just be okay. That whatever stress is in your life, whatever issues that you're facing, I hope you're able to overcome it. And I hope you feel strong enough to confide in other people. And that you also make sure to check up on your people. Because you never know 100% how someone else is doing. And you never know how much just a small conversation, a small, like, genuinely, how are you? How that can really help. So, Take care.